Hey guys, it's me, Stormie. So, talking tonight about the element of earth. We talked a little bit before in the fire sign video about the fact that the elements have to be accounted for when we look at a chart as well, because it makes up a big piece of how you're made up, because you have elemental tendencies as well. So, tonight I'm talking about the earth elements. Now, earth. It's exactly what it sounds like. It is stable, it is solid, it is physical, it is material, it's connected to all of the physicality of the world, the material world. It's also a sign that is, it's also an element, excuse me, that is very, very perceptive. They are perceptive, they are receptive. They are usually not an aggressive sign. Thank God, because they're usually pretty strong, so you wouldn't really want that anyways. But if you could understand that this element is solid, it is enduring, it is strong, it is foundational, then you can really kind of understand the weight that it carries in somebody's chart, especially if they have a lot of earth in their chart. Now, a person with a lot of earth in their chart as well can be very peaceful. They can seem like very, very peaceful people. And that's not a bad thing, but that they can become too peaceful. People who have a lot of earth in their chart can be way too peaceful, too grounded, too materialistic. When an earth element gets into the negative, it is materialistic. It gets stagnant. It forgets about the inner world, and it only works in the material world. It becomes greedy, overweight, things like that. Things when earth is out of balance, you get to see this. Now, the other thing I think that we really have to look at when we're looking at how the world kind of gets put together, the earth element people are the ones who maybe aren't creating anything new, but they are absolutely maintaining to a perfection what has already been created. And if there's a flaw, they may spot it and point it out because they don't want any kinks in the chains. They want the support, the foundation, they want it all to run smoothly. Now, when you get to see these solid traits like in an earth element's life, they'll express it completely differently. So your earth elements are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. Taurus, they are so aware and so perceptive of the five senses, and that's what they work towards. You can especially see this usually in a Taurus's house, because they are going to make sure that their house is not only beautiful, but that everything about you will be stimulated when you're in their space, or everything about them will be stimulated in your space. If you have ever been on a date with an earth element, especially a Taurus, they are usually, it's something luxurious. They like luxurious foods and things like that as well. Now, when you look at Virgo and the way that they use their solid earth element, it's that they are volunteers. They want to make sure that they are lending a helping hand, that they are getting out there to be helpful, and they are going to commit to volunteer until the very end, or they are going to commit to whatever until the very end. They are very humble. Virgos are very humble. I really like that about them. Now, when we get to Capricorn, they're the goat. They are climbing these absolutely incredible mountains. They're getting to the top. They are working their asses off while they climb as well, and they are going to do it. They are going to achieve any goal that they set their mind to, and they are going to do it with this absolute solid kind of perfection movement. It's absolutely incredible. They are the most ambitious of the zodiac sign by far. So if you can understand the way the earth element and the way that it's solid in the chart, in a way it's solid in different people and their signs, the way it's made up, it'll help you to understand a little bit more about how you or the person's chart you're reading is made. Bye, guys. I will see you tomorrow when we talk about, I guess, water signs. We'll do water signs tomorrow. Bye. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, tonight talking about the element of air. Now, air is one of the elements that's really kind of, it's an unconscious kind of element, but think about it. We don't have to think about breathing, but if we stopped having air to breathe, we surely would have a problem, wouldn't we? And the air signs are very much so like that. They are very much so like air. They can go with the flow. Sometimes they're very calm and breezy. Sometimes this element is a huge, ferocious storm. But the one thing that this airiness always has in common is that it's relatively detached. These are not highly attached or highly emotional people. They tend to be very, very detached and just kind of have an appreciation for everything. They have the ability to use their intellect. This is a cerebral and intellectual element, and it can change between thoughts quickly or produce a new thought quickly, communicate a new thought quickly, things like that. So when we look at how this element could affect somebody's chart, if somebody has too much air in their chart, they can become too mental, almost trapped in their heads to where it's like actually moving around the world, the normal material world, can really be a problem. They can have a lot of physical intimacy kind of problems, things like that. But when you look at the balance of where the air may sit in your chart, you just may see why you have the ability to kind of go with the flow on some things. Now, the cooler thing that I think about air signs is that one thing you have to really remember is that they can't be contained. Air cannot be contained. You can't just trap it in a jar and then that's it. That's the end of it. And air signs are like that. They don't want to be held down. They want to be able to move and come and go as they would like to. Now, when we break it down by the signs, your 3 air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. And Aquarius, it's so funny, people always think that Aquarius is a water sign, but it is not. They have the water bearer as their representative, but Aquarius is an air sign. So they express these 3 elements, these 3 signs express this element of air completely differently, kind of the same. Gemini is going to use air to completely, they will manifest connectivity in whatever they're talking about. I mean, you could be in a room with a Gemini that you've never met before and be talking about paint, and the next thing you know, you're going to completely understand how paint was made, why it was made, why that's a good color. You're just going to know all of this stuff about paint, and you're going to leave thinking, oh my gosh, like we just had a conversation about paint, but I feel informed. And that is the way Gemini uses this airy kind of element. Libra uses the air element to balance. They want to balance those scales. They use their voice. They use themselves to promote social harmony. They want situational harmony. They want harmony and balance, so they are using their air impact to intellectually level the place and be the diplomat. Now, when we look at Aquarius, I really like the way that they use their air element because I don't have a lot of air in my chart and no Aquarius, but they use it to just to achieve these really remarkable feats. Like it's detachedness while it connects things all together at the same time. Prime, I think, very Aquarius behavior is you can be out and be social, and you'll see them, and they are completely social. They're in the mix. They're talking. They're moving from one little pod to the other, and they are completely detached. They could care less about staying in one specific place or staying in another specific place, but they do want to make sure that you guys are learning to mix and mingle. These are great connectors. Air signs are great connectors. They can say, Bob, this is Susie from HR, and Susie, you should really know Bob because Bob whatever, and then they leave. That is what this sign holds a lot of strength in doing. So if you can understand the element of air and just that kind of property that it holds in your sign, you can start to understand the way that it affects your chart or the chart of whoever you are reading. I will see you guys in just a little bit when we talk about, what do we do? Earth, air, fire, water. We're going to do the water signs next. Hi guys, it's me, Stormie, talking to you tonight about the element of water. Now, when we're looking at water in an astrological sense, we also can look at it from a very just natural common sense kind of place. I mean, our bodies are made up of mostly water. Our earth is made up of mostly water. Tears are made up of water. Even blood is made up of a whole bunch of water. So it's an absolutely necessary given life force. And when we look at the element of water in astrology, what we see is a highly emotional, deep, intuitive kind of sign. And the most amazing thing about this sign is that water itself needs to remain able to be fluid. It doesn't stay permanently frozen. It doesn't stay permanently liquid. It can turn solid, liquid, gas. It can become anything at any one of these states, but it just needs to be able to keep moving and doing what it does. Another really impressive thing about water is that it can obviously be calm, like a brook, like a nice, quiet, beautiful, babbling brook. And it can be forceful, like can absolutely take you down, kind of typhoon craziness, right? It can be absolutely ridiculous. And the other thing about water is that while this is the most emotional and intuitive of the elements, it is one that if you put it against other elements, it is not going to stand a chance at losing, because water is going to do whatever it has to do. It's going to go wherever it has to go to protect itself, or to protect those that it loves, or to protect the shell, or any of those kinds of things. And you see it very much so in the water signs. So now if you have a person, or you yourself have an overabundance of water in your chart, one thing you can notice is that you can literally get lost in another person. It's like you can drown in your own emotions because you've handed so much of yourself to another person that you're literally drowning in your own defenses and in your own elements. So there has to be a balance. You just don't want to see a water element get on the negative side, because that's exactly what it looks like, is drowning. Now, when we break it down by signs, your 3 water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And these are some of the sweetest signs of the zodiac. They are also the most sensitive. Cancer is going to use its water element to protect and to nurture and to grow and to stimulate whatever it protects. It's going to work on emotional security for itself and the people, places, and things that it loves. Now, when we look at Scorpio, Scorpio is all about giving a lot of depth, a lot of saturation, a lot of help to that emotional security, and also that deep inner transformation and growth, and that deep, it's a deep place when you get to Scorpio. You know what I'm talking about. And Pisces, they are so wonderful because the way they use their water element is they give empathy, and they give healing, and they give new life to anything around them that's suffering, whether it be themselves, their children, their friends. These are people you can very much so see out in the community helping other people, and they're just kind. So if you can kind of understand the way water works as an element, you can start to understand the way that it affects different things in your chart, or the chart of somebody that you are reading. Bye, guys. Hey guys, it's me, Stormie, and we are going to be jumping into the sign profiles here in the next couple days with the 90 videos in 90 days. But before we get into the sign profiles, I wanted to break down the elements as well, because it's part of the foundation of understanding how to read your chart. And the elements provide the elemental disposition that you may have in your life, like a chart that is full of like air and earth. That person will more easily express some of the earthy material kind of things and some of the airy diplomatic kind of things, but they may have a harder time accessing their emotions through those water signs, or being really motivated to do something through those fire signs. So we also consider the elements when we're looking at a chart and how it will make you up as a person. So I wanted to break those down for you a little bit tonight. So tonight we're going to talk about the fire elements first. Now, fire, it sounds just like what it is. It provides warmth, it provides light, it provides heat. It is vital to life. You know, we don't stay alive if we don't have enough heat in our bodies. They're enthusiastic. They get excited about things. Like, you can get these people heated in a hot minute, or they can get excited about things or on board with things. They are very much so inspirational kind of qualities. They are the kind of things that make you go, wow, they just commanded the room when they walked in it, even if they're not necessarily trying to. We know the effect that fire signs have on us now, don't we? They are those people who provide a little bit more sass, for sure. They have a little bit more joy. They bring something to the room that is a bit more, you know what I mean? It's just a lot more heated. Now, the one thing I do want to point out about fire signs is people hear fire and often think just destruction. And really, fire signs were not designed or made or created to be the destroyers, though they can. They're actually just a really sassy, outspoken kind of element that want to be able to express themselves as freely as any other sign, but they just do it at a much more heated level. Now, they can come out of balance, and a fire sign out of balance, very much so you will see them using words that hurt people, using words that cause war, being just far too quick to anger, being very selfish. They forget about the feelings of other people and things like that. But for the most part, a fire sign is just trying to do them. They just do it with a lot more va-va-voom than some of the other signs. So let's break them down just by signs. Your 3 fire signs are going to be Aries, who kicks off the zodiac, of course, Leo, and your last fire sign is going to be Sagittarius. So these three signs have the same element of fire, but they just express it a little bit differently. Aries is very much so concerned about that strong ego, that self-will, that self. Let's create new experiences. Let's have this be a little bit differently. And they are also the ruler of that first house that is self. Then when we get to Leo, they're so funny, they're so lovely, they're so loving, and they want you to know that they love you, or they want you to know that they like you, but mostly they want you to know that they are in the room. These are people who have big personalities. They are very much so concerned with using this fire to promote themselves, to get recognition, to be the known one in the room, things like that. Then you have Sagittarius, and they are philosophers. They are idealistic. So they use their fire element to promote inspiration, new ideas, conversations, spark new ideas, take your mind, take your body on new adventures, things like that. They are all about using their sass and their fire in that kind of way that promotes that philosophical, that adventurer, that let's stimulate it and see it from a new point kind of energy. So those are your fire signs. And if you can understand some of the fiery energy as you're looking around your chart, you can start to understand exactly how that builds into a house and how it has other relationships with the planets as well. So we're going to continue to build. I'm moving on next to talk about the earth signs. So I'll see you guys here in just a few. Bye.